Welcome to Book Club for Movies, everybody. It is September 20th. I'm Ryan Miller. Come back, Silver Tongue Devil. It's Matt Amberg.
I'm here for you, Little Beaver. You know, if you didn't call me Little Beaver, you were getting it. So you took it and you got it.
That's from the movie.
I know. The movie that we watched this week. Smokey and the Bandit.
This is going to be a good one. Man, we got to move quick. I got to go pick up my kids. So, Matt, tell us about Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit comes at you an hour and 36 minutes. Written by James Lee Barrett, Charles Shire, and Alan Mandel. Directed by Hal Needham. Starring Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, Jerry Reed, Jackie Gleason. Once again, also, I just want to say, Burt Reynolds, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Here
Burt Reynolds.
Is your Book Club for Movies synopsis for Smokey and the Bandit. When only the finest American craft brewed beer will do for a celebration, a rich Texan in Georgia enlists the infamous Bandit to the tune of $80,000 to bring that cool, crisp taste of the Rockies back to Atlanta in just 28 hours. What's the worst a little bootlegging can get you? That's it.
Is it? Is it, though?
That's all.
How did you refer to Coors back then? Say that again.
The cool, crisp taste of the Rockies.
No, the first little part. What did you call it?
Only the finest American craft brewed beer.
Huh. I didn't know that's how you felt about it.
It's definitely not at all how any human being... But the fact that you've got a rich Texan who thinks that the greatest beer in the world happened to be, and at the time was considered Coors... yeah. So you
I looked it up. I guess it's had something to do with the fact that about the way it's made. Like it was supposedly the freshest beer in the business.
Yes,
at the time,
because it's made
like
from the frost brewed waters out from the Rockies in Golden, Colorado. You know, Golden, Colorado, where my wife and other people have gone swimming and tubing in the water that goes directly to and towards the Coors factory. Yeah, it's fine.
No, actually, that is Coors. They do very little to it. It turns out.
No, that's why it's frost brewed, and it's the cool, crisp taste of the Rockies. Mostly the people in them. And
I looked this up too. Was never actually illegal. So.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that hurts your enjoyment of this film, but
no, thank God.
All right, okay. I do want to talk a little bit about this film, and we are doing this in honor of Burt Reynolds. It's the one that we chose, but this movie has kind of a great little story about it.
I'm sorry. I got to interrupt you. So, because my wife could hear us talking, and I just got a text message from her saying, "I think we peed in that water," which at the end of the day, I think really, really underscores the quality of Coors.
And I stand by what I said. You know, also it's always great to hear from our listeners, really. But no, so okay, Smokey and the Bandit. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go.
And I do love the story behind this film. If you could picture a Burt Reynolds on a movie set with his stuntman, a Hal Needham, during the filming of Gator, which is a sequel to White Lightning. And Hal Needham starts talking about this script that he already gave to his other buddy, Jerry Reed, a country music singer at the time. And Burt Reynolds says, well, let me check it out. Reads the script, says it's about the worst script he's ever read. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, that sounds like Burt Reynolds.
It sounds like Burt Reynolds, who is...
Funny script.
At this point, yeah, no, that sounds like Norm Macdonald doing Burt Reynolds, which is fine. And
I don't know. Sounds pretty much like him.
Burt Reynolds at this time is the biggest star in Hollywood. This is after Deliverance, a critical and popular success, which he cashed in on with such movies as White Lightning and The Man Who Loved Cat Dancing. One of which I could find, the other of which I could not.
I like Gator.
Gator is good. Well, I haven't seen Gator. I found White Lightning, and I'm actually about 20 minutes from the end of that film. And when I say that Smokey and the Bandit was the one that we chose, I'm looking forward to talking about it, but White Lightning is a movie and a half. That's a good movie so far. Again, 20 minutes left. So Burt says he'll do it. Smokey and the Bandit, he's in. And basically rewrites, I would say, the entire script, and not necessarily by writing it. Basically just kind of Burt Reynolds the whole thing. You know, like he improvises. And I don't know if he was responsible for bringing in Jackie Gleason, who also basically does the same thing.
I knew Gleason improvised almost the entire role.
Oh yeah,
like almost all of that is just him, just being him.
And he added the entire character of Junior.
Junior Justice.
Junior Justice. Thank you. I forgot.
He's Junior Justice.
Buford T. Justice, the name of Jackie Gleason's character.
One of the great villain characters of all time.
It's fantastic. He's great. He's the second he walks out of that car with those, I call them Flower Festival glasses.
Sure.
But it's because in the small town where I grew up, the fair in that city is called the Flower Festival. It's a big flower town.
So everybody sees the aviators.
Yes. So insert whatever fair you like to go to. It's those glasses with that are solid gold with the holes in the side. Just real good. And he's solid gold, man. Like Jackie Gleason at the top of his game, arguably.
I think he's coming down from the top of his game.
Okay,
but he was still he's at this point he was up there in that style of he's kind of in that Don Rickles thing where he had hit. The Gleason show was great. But he was kind of like Don Rickles, where Don Rickles was always funny and just never stopping and still is funny. And Gleason was just, I'm gonna go ahead and hit a peak and I'm just gonna stay there forever.
Well, and not even Gleason's show, but Gleason shows, which I think is what I mean when I say he's at the top of his game. He's showing up to this thing with all of that stuff behind him, knows his character, knows what makes a good character, knows what to do with that character. Just firing on all cylinders, basically.
For sure.
Coming down from the top of his game or not. So I guess maybe I've given away how I feel about this film so far.
It's a fun movie.
It's Smokey and the Bandit, man. Everybody knows Smokey and the Bandit. Now I do, because I'd never seen it before. But still.
I dig the movie. I think it's got great performances all the way around. I think Sally Field is terrific. She is so much fun in this movie, being kind of the foil in this, without being a foil. She's just kind of this passenger that is literally a passenger throughout the movie. But she works for me. I love it. I love how she kind of is just along for the ride, and she's in the movie. She's along for the ride. She's whatever. Let's just do it. Let's just go.
I mean, you're basically talking around Burt Reynolds. This especially I watched another movie this week, and maybe this is how we'll save some time. I'll talk about it all together. I also watched Cannonball Run. The Cannonball Run. And it became very apparent to me early on how much Burt Reynolds makes Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, yeah.
In Cannonball Run, he's a presence, and there's a ton of fun stuff with him and Dom DeLuise, but that movie did not land as much, and we don't want to get caught up, I guess, there, but Smokey and the Bandit is like this lightning in a bottle. And there's not a lot to it. The movie is literally what you described in the synopsis with, it builds and it builds. There is progression, and there's this love story between him and Fields. But the ending of the movie is basically, and maybe to explain a little bit more, he's not even in the semi. That's Jerry Reed, the country singer.
Right.
They are running Coors from
Texarkana.
Texarkana, thank you. But Bert's driving the Trans Am, and obviously the movie focuses mostly on him. He does pick up Sally Field along the way, and that's pretty much it. Towards the end, when they run into so many cops that there needs to be an actual solution or a success of sorts, all that happens is they switch places, and the semi goes in front of the Trans Am and drives through the cops, and movie over, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. This movie is one, you do not watch Smokey and the Bandit hoping for a great story here. This is not like a plot driven thing or anything. This is not depth. This is just a lot of fun. That's it.
And it's because of the people that are in it. It's because, again, it's lightning in a bottle. All of these things came together in a way that I don't think they could have even hoped for, honestly. I mean, I guess you get these guys together, and again, the whole Burt Reynolds talking to his stuntman being like, yeah, let's make a movie, and they have a blast doing something they consider to be a movie. But
cowboy hat.
How do you know or hope that that's going to come out and hit with people? I guess because it's Burt Reynolds?
Because it's Burt Reynolds, especially at the time. Burt Reynolds, the most cocksure man in Hollywood at the time, no doubt. That guy was walking around everybody liked him. Guys wanted to be him. Women wanted to be with him. It was that whole thing. That was Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
And the movie is so funny because it is for all of this, he's supposed to be from Atlanta or he's from Georgia. He sounds like Burt Reynolds.
No,
it's Burt Reynolds.
Just Burt Reynolds, man.
Everybody else around him's got putting on the Southern. Jackie Gleason's got his kind of his Texas thing going on. He's got a little bit of a drawl to it.
He's hamming it up, man.
Jerry Reed's, Jerry Reed. I mean, he's a Southerner anyway. Right. And then you got Burt Reynolds. Yeah, I'm from Georgia.
Again,
Yeah.
you might just be doing Norm Macdonald, but now
like
I'm
peaches.
beginning to see the brilliance of that character.
Men's peaches for free.
And the freaking movie looks horrible. Like, it looks like a TV show at best. Like, it's not, I mean, there are moments, and we'll get to the Sally Field moments, but for the most part, you're not looking at like a cinematography masterpiece or anything like that, you know?
No, it's got some fun car chases. It's got its DNA from some of those early or mid 60s, late 60s, early 70s movies, where the car chase was so paramount at that point, you know, where it was a big thing.
No, for Reynolds movies often.
For sure. And it, it's great. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, talking about like, you want to talk about cinematography. This is not a movie that's getting shown in any school to say, here's how you film anything.
Again, I would point you at White Lightning or probably Deliverance, but I have not seen Deliverance. That was not on the family friendly list this week.
That's weird. I'm sure your kids would get very instructive knowledge from that film. At least show them the Christopher Walken scenes when he's in like, I don't remember where they're at. I want to say they're in Beijing somewhere, but I can't remember.
So yes, Smokey and the Bandit not winning any of those awards, but doesn't need to. Like, actually, you know what? Having said all of that, there are these moments where the film kind of stops and Bert and Sally act together because they do get going. They do pick up. Sally Field's literally just on the road in a wedding dress. Carrie in the film.
Yes, and then she gets annoyed that she doesn't have a handle like Bandit and Snowman.
Right, that's right.
So he calls her Frog because she's always jumping around.
Right. So yeah, Fields is the love interest, and they are together, and she's got just great lines and turns in a perfect performance. But there are these moments where the movie kind of slows down, the focus goes soft. I don't know if they're throwing Vaseline on the lens or what. Music starts playing, and it's just this melodramatic, and they start talking to each other, and Bert's got his lines and Sally's got her lines, and they're all very kind of skirting the issue, but it's super flirty. It's like Gone with the Wind out of nowhere and somehow works. Like the first time it happened, I was like, whoa, like it caught me off guard. And then like, I want to say it happens like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, okay, it's literally working somehow.
So what's funny is if you, it is so Gone with the Wind. Like the melodrama on that is so outstandingly like, and then Jerry Reed. So one of the things this whole movie is Jerry Reed does like, he sings all the songs. And there's this song that's playing behind them called Bandit, and it's just this like, it's like they went, hey Jerry, can you write the most melodramatic song humanly possible for 2 moments where 2 people are trying to figure out what they have in common and neither of them know what the other person's talking about? And he went, yeah, I sure can. Out pooped Bandit.
It did. And the moments work, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't still. And okay, full disclosure, they might have cheated a little bit because they were literally falling in love at this point.
Well, I mean, you got to blame it on the Bandit.
Yeah, this was, I don't know if this is the beginning of that relationship, but they had a long relationship.
Sure did.
Shortly before and after this. So you get the feeling, it's one of those movies, and there are very few of them, where you get the feeling that you got to see this happen on screen. I know I've talked about it before. One of my favorite examples of this is the movie Once.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Like they're falling in love on screen. So those moments totally land and are awesome and somehow fit and work, and again, lightning in a bottle. You mentioned the music. Let's go to the music. Jerry Reed did do all the music. The first note I had before I looked up and found out that he did do all the music was that, oh man, every movie should have music that explains the plot as it happens.
Yes. So it starts off with going westbound and down.
Yeah.
And then they're going to do something that nobody else has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go get some beer.
Well, when you put it that way.
Then they're going to go eastbound and down and try to get back in time because nobody else has done it. It's a great song. Like,
it's been really stuck in my head for weeks, man. Are you kidding?
I can't. You hear eastbound and down,
and it gets better because the as the story goes, somebody after Jerry got the script said, "Hey Jerry, could you do the music?" And he literally, quote unquote, as you put it, pooped out this complete earworm overnight and became one of his biggest hits ever. Like, he had to play it all the time at every single one of his shows from then on out. So again, I don't know how many times I'm going to say lightning in a bottle, but I'm probably not done yet. We did already mention Jackie Gleason. He is a pleasure to watch in this thing, and the character he added, obviously, to give himself a more to play off of, was still a perfect addition. Gave me one of my favorite lines from the movie, where the cop car goes underneath the semi and the top gets chopped off, and he says, "Daddy, the top came off." and he's not. We call him Junior Justice. I think he's a Mr. Universe. Like, he's a huge dude.
Yeah, the guy was super ripped.
Yeah. Fantastic idea. And again, Gleason at the top of his game, brings everything that he should have and knew he was gonna.
A lot of fun. The whole movie, all the characters are fun. It is a fast hour, 36 minutes. It doesn't feel like that to me. It was it just kind of clips along, and when it does slow down for those brief moments, they're not they don't overstay their welcome. They serve the characters well enough.
They do more than just even maybe we've given them credit for so far. Like there is, for all their talking around stuff, it is very much about, when Bandit, when you going to slow down type thing,
And I don't even know. I don't even know if it's always the Bandit, when are you going to slow down, so much as
because she's into it. Yeah, no.
Because she's into it, but it's the I think it's the when are you going to slow down and maybe settle up with somebody, but not slow down with who you are.
I mean, it's the deepest part of the movie. So yeah, let's get held up on it for a second or two.
I think we're done. I think we got it.
Okay, all right. It is. It's a quick movie. Honestly, it's not like we can go into deep detail about this thing.
I'm sure if we really wanted to read into stuff, we could. But,
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's made for that. I don't know if it should be done with this. Like I guess you could pull out stuff that's of the era. Maybe. I just, again, lightning in a bottle is the takeaway from this thing, because it's got just this birth out of nowhere from a stuntman. Like Hal Needham. It was the stuntman that I was referring to, like the director of this film.
Yeah.
And he went on to make a bunch more, but it looks like it was directed by a stuntman at some point and is still just a freaking blast. Like
it
is what it needs to be. And it's, especially if we're going to do something in honor of Burt Reynolds, there's stuff out there, and maybe for a tiny rest of the show, I'll get into what else I've been watching, but this, I think, is pretty representative. There's a reason why when I went to the mall this weekend with the kids, again, Smokey and the Bandit was playing at 5 p.m. on Saturday. And I had to look it up too. I was like, oh man, did they remake this thing? And they're like trying to cash in on it right now. And I looked up, no, they were showing the original. This isn't an art house theater. This was at freaking Edwards, whatever, Cinemark, I don't know. Just playing Smokey and the Bandit, man.
Love it. Just love it.
And for a dude that, speaking of Burt Reynolds, turned down, this is another thing I came across in doing my due diligence here, turned down the roles of Han Solo and John McClane.
Yep.
But that he often chose movies like this that were just fun. That's a pretty good legacy,
For sure. We like this movie, I think. Smokey and the Bandit, good stuff.
An easy, cool 73 stars.
Out of 73. Incredible. Yep. What a great movie, Smokey and the Bandit. We love it. Check it out. Next week's book club for movie selection. Not going to be streaming on Amazon, Netflix. It is, I think, available on video on demand. It is available on Amazon. You got to pay for it. We're going to watch Ron Howard's take on the Chris Lord, Phil Miller take of Solo, the Star Wars saga story about John Solo. I'm not familiar with anything this John Solo fellow. Really looking forward to finding out about the stars and the spaces and stuff.
How true are your words going to end up being? I wonder.
We will not. We'll never know. But next week, check out Han Solo. The film is called Solo. Streaming places, do that. Get it on Blu-ray.
And we're Star Wars fans here at the office, so this will be an interesting one, I think, regardless. We might use it as an excuse to... I mean, I guess you have to with this movie, actually. I mean, spoiler, I watched it already. But Star Wars is going to come up. That's all I'll say.
All right. That's fair. Until next week... Podcast at bookclubformovies.com. If you got comments about Smokey and the Bandit, if you want to send comments about Solo, let us know. But for now, let's just do the rest of the show.
We will do the rest of the show. And I did mention the ones I've already seen. I did also watch Cannonball. The Cannonball Run.
The Cannonball Run.
Maybe coming off of Smokey. I don't know. Maybe I can see the fun that's to be had. But man, does it seem like they had this idea... it's freaking Wacky Races, what I'm talking about. They didn't even have the idea.
Wacky Races, yeah.
And just said, well, we know that has to take place during the second act, so we can pretty much just do whatever up till then, right? Burt Reynolds says, yeah, of course, and it's him and Dom DeLuise, so they're probably mostly right. And then the wacky races start, and they kind of don't do much there either. Like, I'm probably already assigning too much to this movie. And again, maybe it's coming off of Smokey and the Bandit. I couldn't even just sit down and have fun, kind of like I had fun, grinning ear to ear. No, okay, fun enough. It's just nothing is as strong as Smokey and the Bandit. Maybe that's my problem.
That could be.
It's all inconsequential too. Like you think the plot would be like, hey, here goes the wacky races, and one by one, all the contestants are going to fall out until the winner is left or something,
right,
or until there's two left. Like, stuff happens to all the other contestants, which are, by the way, freaking Jackie Chan, not playing Jackie Chan,
no.
Roger Moore, playing Roger Moore. A lot of it hits. I'm laughing thinking about it more, especially the Roger Moore bits. But it's kind of there. It's fun. You know what you're going to get. And Dom DeLuise is fun.
Dom DeLuise is one of the best parts. Just watching Burt Reynolds slap the ever-loving, like, the best part. I honestly think one of the best parts of Cannonball Run is the outtakes at the end. It's the credits.
I laughed the most during the outtakes at the end.
We all did.
Okay, all right. So maybe it's a good thing Jackie Chan was in that movie. That was probably his idea.
Yeah, no, Jackie Chan wrote it.
Nobody wrote that movie.
I've come up with this film, and I've sent it to Burt Reynolds, and he said yes.
This was his shoot. Who directed Cannonball? It wasn't Hal Needham again, was it?
I don't think so. I think Hal Needham did Gator.
No way he did Gator. He was the stuntman in Gator. He didn't direct it. Unnaturally quickly verified that he did do Cannonball Run actually also. So there you go.
Sucker.
They got the band back together, and they got a couple friends to do it with them. They got Jamie Farr to be a funny dude they probably didn't spend enough time with. They got Terry Bradshaw to be a funny little DUI type comedy act for a while. Farrah Fawcett's in there.
Yeah, it was a star-studded.
Not Marty Feldman plays the doctor.
I forgot about Marty Feldman. Yeah.
He's not Marty Feldman.
He's not.
I forgot about him too, but it's not him.
It's not him.
He might be the best part of the movie, actually. That doctor is something.
I haven't seen that in a long time either. Cannonball Run. You could probably, I don't know. I did also, like I said, 20 minutes from the end of White Lightning. That's a movie and a half. Check that thing out for sure. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing your final thoughts on that next week.
Yeah, I guess I'll come back to it for a second, but it looks gorgeous. You get an actual Burt Reynolds performance in there. Burt Reynolds starts out in jail. His brother gets killed by a crooked cop who is Ned Beatty. And he basically makes a deal with the feds to get out of jail so that he can avenge his brother's death. In so doing, has to inform on some moonshine runners. White lightning is another term for moonshine, if you didn't know. White whiskey. White whiskey. It takes its time with some things that I'm not sure, like there's a romance in there. I don't know if it needed to be in there. Like I could have used some more Ned Beatty. Maybe you could have built him up. So a few quibbles, but it's just a gorgeous looking movie of that era. Like there's some herky jerkiness to it that you come to expect, but it's very well directed and just a good story. It's a good story.
Sure.
That's all I got. Did you do anything else this week? I'm sorry. You got 6 minutes to do it in.
I got 6 minutes. This is a movie that you can't talk about in any amount of time. So
actually, you know what? I take that back. 8 minutes.
I got 8 minutes. I can't talk about it in that amount of time either, but we'll talk about it. I did. We went to the theater this weekend, and we went and saw Mandy. Comes in at 2 hours and 1 minute. Written by Panos Cosmatos and Aaron Stewart.
Whoa, this is a Panos Cosmatos thing?
Directed by Panos Cosmatos.
Oh, okay.
Starring Nicolas Cage, Andre Risenborough, Linus Roche, and Richard Brake. There are no... How do you explain Mandy? Mandy is a movie that you are going to hear a lot about, and you are going to see a lot about, and you're going to hear people say, there's this, the way I look at it is you've either seen the movie or you haven't. And that's legitimate. But people are like, you're living in a post-Mandy world now. Movies are going to change forever. I love this movie. I loved it. Beth and I both, we were over the moon for it. Thought it was great. It is not in any way a touchstone film. It's not a landmark movie. Great movie. Not this isn't going to change the landscape in any way, which people seem to be ascribing to it, which I think is kind of funny.
Well, I mean, we've recently talked about a Panos Cosmatos film that sounded pretty I guess I don't know if it was groundbreaking, but it sounded pretty different.
Yeah, well, and Beyond the Black Rainbow is a movie we talked about, and I love that movie. It's a terrific movie. He has a very specific look and feel to him that you can already pick up from both films. If you've watched one, you will have that feeling and that look. He does a very similar thing where he uses a lot of heavy synthesizer, heavy kind of that 80s motif in terms of sound and music. So it's a lot of synthesizers, lots of swelling music. Nicolas Cage, amazing performance here, but not for the reasons that like people are like, I want to see crazy Nick Cage. He does do that. He absolutely has. There is a moment in the movie where he does the literal thing that everybody kind of wants to see him do, that like the crazy face and the stupid, like I'm going to say something real dumb.
Right.
And then he
just takes Samberg character.
And he takes and he takes this huge pile of cocaine and just snorts a bunch of it off like a knife. But he doesn't have a ton of lines. There's not a lot of dialogue in this movie. And the dialogue that is in the movie is and this probably sounds stupid, especially to you. I think this is going to sound dumb. There is a very, very deliberate set of dialogue here. Like there does not feel like there was any room for change. There was no room for an improvisation here. The dialogue is very specific and it needs to be said very specifically. And I think, and one of the interesting things is a majority of this movie is Nick Cage face, not so much talking.
Does not sound dumb to me, for the record.
He puts on a great performance. The Panos Cosmatos has a vision like nobody else right now. That's making widespread movies. There are lots of people that make beautiful films. He is one of these people that I think he's up there in terms of visionary director. Like the guy has an idea of what he wants to see and he gets it out there and it's great. It is unique. It is wonderful. The way he films things, the style of cinema he's using. I'm not sure if he used actual film here or if he used digital and then kind of degraded the film. Not
being sure is a step up, though. I think
it's great, and I love it because it's a film that looks degraded to a point, but not overly so. He relies heavily on lots of color, so there's lots of dark driving on highways and stuff, but lots of red coming up from behind, so like real big gel lights. The characters. This is a really hard movie to explain too, because it has kind of a basic thread, and the basic thread is, and this is like super, super basic. You have to understand, this is not like,
I understand that it's basic.
This is more basic than anything. Like this is white bread, you know,
reductive and not representative disclaimer.
Exactly. Nick Cage is he's a lumberjack. His wife is Mandy. He goes back home. He gets choppered back home. He sees her. They love each other very much. She's walking along the road somewhere. They live in kind of the woods. And the movie takes place in 1983 is the year they give. She's walking along the road. There's an RV drives past. The people in the RV are kind of like culty, and one of the people in the RV is very Jesus-y for them and seems to believe that everything is owed to him, and he wants her, but he doesn't know how to find her, so he invokes the use of these demon creatures that will tell him where to find her.
Okay.
And this, by the way, so 2-hour film, this is the first probably 40 minutes of the movie. And it's very kind of slow and tense, and it builds, but it's very slow, very slow. And Beth thought this was going to be a real slow burn, the whole movie, and that it was going to be very violent, like they were going to torture her. No. She does end up, things happen to her, which set Nicolas Cage off onto his journey. But as soon as that happens, the movie ratchets up, and bam, that next hour and like half or whatever flies by.
Wait, how long is this thing?
2 hours. It's a 2-hour film.
That checks out. Okay.
And it's a really interesting film. I can't recommend it highly enough. I just want people to go in and understand that the movie itself is a very, very good film. It is not that touches. Like, it is not something that people are going to look back on in 50 years and say, this movie is the next Citizen Kane. It's not. It's not going to do anything.
What?
Yeah, it's not going to do anything
Why
like
are you
that
even going to the movies, man?
for any genre. It is just really freaking good at the genre it's in, and the genre that it fits in is Panos Cosmatos movies.
Right.
That's it.
It's redefined film, and for years to come, this will be the linchpin hallmark of the medium.
It's basically this movie and Bridesmaids, and that's all film is now. Great movie though.
I have so many questions that I can't ask. I'm sorry I didn't leave enough time.
It's all right.
And that I have children.
Yeah, well, we're all sorry about that.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay. Thank you for coming to Book Club for Movies. You can contact us at bookclub4movies at podcast.podcast.
Book Club for Movie at podcast at bookclubformovies.com. Don't forget, next week, Solo.
They call you the Bandit, an outlaw untamed, shackled only by freedom. You wear no man's chain. Some say they despise you. Well, maybe they do. But deep down inside them, I bet they wish they were you.